Ah, there you are. Everything froze, but it's okay
Yeah.
now.
Okay. So it Ayush conference. This Ayush conference was organized on bringing in all the holistic sciences together, and doctors all over the world participated in it,
Hmm.
and uh, they were made to present their papers and observations,
Right.
because in scientific field and this current scenario, everybody has realized that the alternative medicines, so-called, should not be called alternative medicine, but so-called alternative medicine did wonders in all this pandemic and this situation, and people have started moving to more holistic approach. So they did a wonderful job. It was bringing all the holistic Ayurvedic, Unani, homeopathy under one roof, and doctors came all over the world to present the paper. And it's a
That's amazing.
big yeah, and it's a big conference. It was held at World Trade Center. It's a huge building. So 1,200 doctors attended it.
Wow, that's
And
actually that's I didn't expect it to be that many.
yeah, it was huge. I'll share a few photographs with you after the
Yeah,
session.
please do. We'll
And
promote them up on my socials, huh?
yes, and Dubai is one place where everybody is running around. Everybody has to earn their bread and butter.
Hmm.
The females, especially, are also working hard, hand in hand with the males, and so that's like the pressures which they go through is lot, and that's what they go into more hormonal imbalance, and these hormonal imbalances are leading into more of hormonal changes, and one of them is causing polycystic ovarian disease. So I thought of selecting a paper on polycystic ovarian
Hmm.
disease and try to explain what are the possibilities. I also showed them around 20 cured cases with the same similar approach by using the tool of German new medicine into it, and how easy it becomes to solve these cases, because you just come to the cause of the disease, polycystic ovarian disease, with German new medicine. And once you know the cause, that is the ailments from which we use in our rubrics, we can come very close to the remedy, and the remedy hits right on the target because you're covering the cause, that is ailments from.
You know, wanted to ask you because I've been asked this question since you came on last week, which was or a few days ago, should I say, that there's two different elements here. You're not talking homeopathy. Homeopathy is the tool that's used to treat the patient. German new medicine is not homeopathic. German new medicine, if you can explain what that is, because it may be that people are thinking, because homeopathic medicines, as you know, a large amount are produced in Germany. So people may be thinking, listeners may be thinking, oh, this is German new medicine, meaning new homeopathic medicine. I've been asked this question, so I thought I'd ask you, the expert.
Yeah. So German new medicine is mostly, is in German it is also called as GHK, Germanisch Heilkunde knowledge. It is knowledge. It is not medicine. It is the knowledge of the human anatomy, physiology, and its
Hmm.
functioning. How does the functioning of the body happens? Why do cells multiply? Why do the cell proliferate? Why there is necrosis? Why the organ fails, or why the organ overperforms? Why there is hypothyroid and why there is hyperthyroid? The same organ having two different extreme
Hmm.
diseases is explained by the Germanisch Heilkunde knowledge.
It's
Okay,
got,
it's
yeah.
knowledge. It's not a medicine.
So
It's
this is
not a
obviously, Dr. Sheikh, this is leading edge knowledge, right? This is right on the cusp, isn't it, of everything that's current and all the
and
knowledge of medicine itself and anatomy and physiology and pathology and everything, isn't it? It's combined, isn't it, together?
combined. Combined. So I was always studying all these years. Now it's 27th year on. I was always studying these medicines, and I was polishing my knowledge on homeopathic medicines from all these stalwarts. but we always missed knowledge of disease, and that thing always used to eat me. That, oh, I don't know the human mechanism till now, completely. Why this is happening? Why there is a nasal polyp? Why there is a nasal deviation? Why there is a sty coming only on the right eye? Why the liver gets affected? Why everybody who smokes doesn't get cancer? Why everybody who drinks doesn't get liver cirrhosis? Big question, a big question.
Yeah.
So then the German new medicine, when I was going through, gave me answers to this. Why everybody who smokes doesn't get cancer? The reason is everybody who does not have death fright conflict, he doesn't have the fear of death, or is he not crisis, he is happily smoking and he doesn't have any stress, won't affect these cells. But the cells which are in stress, the cortisols are high, and on top of it you are smoking and increasing the cortisol of your body and causing more toxins in the body is not ready to detoxify, because it has no power to detoxify or throw the toxins out, because you are already under cortisol stress, adrenaline stress gets into cell destruction. And that's the reason some people have lung cancer. Not everybody who smokes has cancer.
Fascinating
And the same goes with,
insight.
yeah. So that made me go more deeper. And the Germanish Heilkunde, the knowledge of German new medicine, made me understand the inside story of a human being. Why he gets diarrhea, why he gets constipation, why he has hair loss, why he has only right shoulder stiffness, why he has only a right side arthritis, not the left side, because our remedies had right and left. Okay, lycopodium is right-sided affection, lachesis is left-sided affection. But what of the body? Why there is this differentiation? So German new medicine taught me that right side is all about work, partner. So naturally, lycopodium also, last time I had mentioned this. So there are ample of examples which go on in making us understand that the knowledge of disease is very important. And then when you are stressed, how you adapt to the surrounding is what exactly we take in our totality. The adaptation is what we take into totality, and that totality is built upon what is the effect of the disease. You do not take the common symptoms, you take the after effect of the disease symptoms in your totality, and that's what brings in the PQRS of that case and helps us solve those PQRS cases, diseases. The
Now,
PQRS symptoms solve the diseases.
another question that may arise is somebody may say, okay, this is really interesting, which genuinely it is anyway, right? Fascinating. But somebody may ask the question that, well, I used to work manual labor, and it's, heavy lifting for years and years, and it's affected my joints, and I have joint pains, which is classed generally in medicine as wear and tear. How can that possibly then be related to German new medicine? Because it was something physical that they did, which resulted in difficulty as far as the movement of the joints is concerned because of wear and tear.
Yeah, I have a nice answer to this. So every person who does a heavy work doesn't have joint complaints or wear and tear. In fact, that physical work, if he is having a good diet and a good sleep and emotional stability, mental stability, in fact, builds a muscle, builds a nice physique. But a person at work doesn't want to do that labor work, is doing that work against his wish and will, and he feels this is not what the work he was supposed to do or was born to do. And this situation, I mean, I am not the person who has to do this work. I These people don't understand my worth. The German New Medicine says the biological conflict for all arthritis and joint complaints and muscles and tendons is devaluation conflict or self-worth conflict. Now, what is this devaluation conflict? When you don't value yourself, or you feel that I am doing an ordinary job. Okay, so for example, you feel that you're doing an ordinary job and you feel that you're not made fit to do this job. And there is a rubric called as delusion, ordinary job he's pursuing, doing. That is plumber mate. Okay, so just to
Mm.
convert how I use my rubrics, I thought of telling you. So I'm doing an ordinary job. These people don't value my thing. I'm doing it since 10 years, 15 years. My junior has become my boss, and I am still doing the same job. How can I listen to my junior? He doesn't have my self, I don't have my self worth anymore. Is what raises the cortisol. Is what you're doing something which you're not happy in doing. Something which you're not happy in doing, you feel tired if you must have tried doing it sometime. That tiredness doesn't come if you're doing a good job. So if you are doing interviews all day, and I really appreciate you are bringing the whole world under one roof and interviewing so many people and bringing homeopathy to everybody's doorstep is amazing. And you
Love to
love your
you.
job. Thank you. And you love your job.
I
The
love it.
way, yeah, so you are not going to get tired. But if somebody from other field comes in and he is just doing for the sake of taking an interview and doesn't have any little bit also interest in homeopathy, and he's told to do it for money day in and day out, he will get stressed and he will not value his own job. And people around him, because of his stress and no interest, will also not
Mm.
value him. When there is devaluation conflict, there is osteoporosis, there is breakdown of the bones. That osteoporosis gradually goes on increasing because the bones are getting weak. Naturally, the structure has to be maintained. So the muscles go stiff and hard, which they take over the job of the bones. And that's how the arthritis sets in. So the wear and tear will happen only with a person
Mm.
who is overusing his body without having his head in that place, without having his will and happiness over there. If he's sad and doing it, he's going to have arthritis and wear and tear. If he's happy and doing his job, he will never have his wear and tear because no cortisol.
You know, it takes me back to the first conversation that we had last year. If you could actually speak to those joining and those who will listen afterwards, that you said something very profound, which was to do with German medicine and how they have done their scientific research to prove that how you think or how our emotions or state of mind absolutely affect. I know with homeopathy, by the way, before I say this, we know this already, but from a scientific perspective, I'm saying now that they have spoken about this, have they not, that it does correlate to pathology or physiology, actually changes, in the body.
Yes, the pathology. So it how it connects is our emotions stimulate neurotransmitters. So what are the neurotransmitters? Histamine, adrenaline, serotonin, dopamine. These are the neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters change our enzymes and hormones. And these hormones and enzyme long term effect, very important long term effect, if keep changing in a body, the organ changes, the gland changes, and then we suffer with those things. So
Hmm.
it is very easy to reverse them if you understand the emotions. That's the reason homeopathy and Ken says mind is important.
Amazing. Now, Dr. Sheikh, you are in the wonderful place of Dubai, and you have actually had the great honor, or should I say, um, the recipients have had the honor of you presenting a paper on polycystic ovarian disease. Now, in the UK or in the West, they also refer to it as PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. And so many, even young girls now, are getting, PCOS, and it's causing a great deal of problems as far as hormonal imbalance, as far as wellness, as far as obviously fertility as well. So do share about your paper and your experiences with the cured cases.
Yes. So first, I would want to clear PCOS and PCOD. PCOD is polycystic ovarian disease, and PCOS
Hmm.
is syndrome. A syndrome is on a lower level. Why? Because there is something which has happened, and that has caused certain changes in the body, and that all changes, like hair on the chin and below the nose, on your upper lip, and menses irregular, and little mannish characters, is the syndrome.
Hmm.
But disease is continuous conflict, means the conflict repeats again and again and again and again. Multiple conflicts leads to multiple formation. That multiple cyst is called polycystic ovarian disease. Why disease? Because the cysts are many, and because now this is very important. When we do a detailed understanding, I will be explaining this. So the brain part, the cerebral medulla, controls the ovary. Okay,
Hmm.
the cerebral medulla, all the organs which is controlled by the cerebral medulla, always have a, a healing, or the first impact is cell loss. There is loss cell.
Hmm.
So when there is a cell loss, naturally on ovary, how the cell loss will be? It will be in the form of necrosis. In uterus, there will be no cell loss, there will be cell proliferation. That's the reason in uterus we find fibroids, because it is controlled by brain stem, the oldest brain. Okay.
Hmm.
So what I told them, or explained to the chairperson and the audiences, is for the ovaries, the conflict is loss conflict. So in the case which I presented, I showed a girl who was supposed to get married in a house. She did not like the sister-in-law. She said that sister-in-law is not my type, my level type.
Hmm.
I cannot stay. I want her out of the house. If you want me to be in the house, she should be out of the house. The husband used to get irritated, but every time she used to pursue and say, see, I am a chartered accountant, I am a great person, I don't like this female, I don't even want to see her face, I hate her, and I will not stay with her in the same house. Husband tolerated for some time, but after some time he started giving back. He said, I don't think we can get married now, because if you don't like my sister-in-law, where will my sister go? I cannot leave her on a road.
Hmm.
So you have to adjust. She said, no, I will not adjust. Then the husband said, to be husband said, then it is better that I cancel this proposal and marriage. And then when he said this, it was enough for her to get that shock and conflict. And that conflict is what? Loss conflict. So it is written in learninggnm.com. Fear of losing loved one causes the conflict to get active, as it is written. So I found, oh my God, she's talking the German New Medicine language.
Hmm.
So I said, okay, now what I have to do? I have to see the adaptation. What is the adaptation? Jealousy, contemptuous, casting of people around her, hatred towards person who she has seen. And I repertorize this. What comes? Platina comes. I gave her 3 doses of platina, and within 3 months, I will send you the reports. Within 3 months, all the ovaries had clearly cleaned up of all the cysts and normal tissue and normal ovary. And the sonologist, the sonographic doctor, radiologist called me up that what exactly have you done? This doesn't get cured. We give metformin and we
Hmm.
get progesterone all the life. Menses, how did you do this? And I said, that is okay. Tell me the medicine. What he said, tell me the name of the medicine. I'll start giving to everyone. That doesn't work. That doesn't work here, boss. This is homeopathy. We treat the person we don't treat the person in disease. We treat the whole, him as a whole. Okay. We treat the person in disease, not the disease in person. And uh, that was the case presented, and everybody really liked it, and it was amazing.
That truly is amazing. You know, you're still there, aren't you, for a day or so more? Or
No, I'll be flying back tomorrow back home.
right.
Today I finished clinic. Tomorrow I'll be
So
flying.
how was it received overall? Very, very successful, I assume.
Very successful. There were good comments. People are calling me. In fact, I today have 5, 6 doctors coming who had extended their stay, came here and wanted their relatives some queries they had about PCOD. They were treating some cases of PCOD, so we had a good discussion over there. And they called up those people, and they really found that conflict again in them also. And it was surprising for them as well as the people whom we were asking, did you lose somebody? Whom did you lose? Did you feel homesick? Did you leave your house and went to the college and stayed in the hostel and you started losing your menses? And they all agreed.
Amazing. Really, and also very, what's the word I can use? Very exciting, you know? It's very exciting. It's just the process which is exciting. I think I personally find it very exciting as well. And I know many people have spoken to me saying, "Oh, get Dr. Usher back." And that's why I know we were scheduled for next week. I think when you actually came back, but we got in touch,
Yes.
didn't we? And we did this, which is, hey, this is great. I think because you're right in the action, aren't you?
Yeah. Thank you. And for Dubai, for me, it is a new place, but this understanding and everything is new for the patients and the doctors. So, I work at Wealth, and Wealth is a subsidy or a sister concern of Medcare and Asters. So they have around 180 outlets and something around 12, 13 hospitals. So it's a big company, and I mean, really have to thank the owners, Mopins, who gave me this opportunity to start something like this,
Mm.
so that patients here don't have to run out of the country and get healed under one roof.
I'm looking forward to hopefully sometime this year you coming over to the UK as we've discussed as well, and also some webinars that we can do and really get this knowledge out there because you have so much knowledge and I think this is just a tip, isn't it? This
Yes.
is just a small snippet, should I say rather, of what is to come.
Yes.
Um, I wanted to ask you a question as far as disease is concerned. PCOD, of course, is one. But diabetes and high blood pressure, as you very well know, Dr. Sheikh, it's just every second person seems to have either blood pressure or diabetes or both. Certainly in the West,
Yeah.
it's really, really taking hold of people's well-being. What are your thoughts and insights on that?
So, diabetes, it's very easy to reverse till you understand the GHK completely. Now this is a little bigger topic, but I will try to make it short. More than short, I will try to make it easy to
Hmm.
understand. So just for the technical thing, what GHK says is resistance conflict. It is called as resistance conflict. So if you are doing a work in the office and you're putting all your efforts, everything which you can do to see to it that that place or that firm or that work is getting done. You are working day in and out. You're burning the candle or at both the ends. Now see how beautiful it is. Now if this boss after your hard work gives your colleague promotion, it is devaluation conflict. Then you get joint pains. But If in this situation you are not acknowledged and you are not given increment and you are not given promotion and still you are working, you're pushing the table, which is just not ready to move. What will the body do? The body will produce more glucose to provide the cells energy so that you can work, because that's needed for survival. Okay. Now, for survival, if you are working more, naturally the body will store more glucose so that you can use that glucose for performing a job which is a Herculean task. Now, the command comes from the brain, the psyche and the brain, to the beta cells: stop producing insulin. Why? Because this person will fall and die. Stop producing insulin. The beta cells stop, reduce the production of insulin. What will happen because of that? There is hyperglycemia. The sugar goes up. Now, the sugar goes up, you get the energy to do a work which is very difficult to for a normal person to go on doing. But then, because of your sugar levels high, you can perform the job. But what we do, we go to doctors and take sugar reducing pills. What happens in this situation? You take the sugar reducing pills, but the brain knows this guy wants to work hard. I have to make more sugar. It makes more sugar. Next day you go, next week you go, next 15 days go, the doctor increases the dose. Increases. You land up into insulin. But your work, where you are doing a resistance job, you are trying to push a table which is impossible to push, goes on increasing your sugar. Naturally, all these mechanism which is happening, the heart has to support. And that's the reason people having blood pressure have diabetes and blood pressure. The heart has to push. The conflict for heart problems and hypertension is overwhelming conflict. You are overwhelmed with that passion to work. So heart has to pump. When the heart will pump, there will be more sugar because the insulin levels drop, more sugar. Both the situations will be managed by medicine without telling that patient, boss, please stop doing this job. Please take rest. Please manage your rest and work together. Please don't do such things which you cannot pursue for long, and manage them well, and reduce your carbohydrates. All these things require more energy, more protein in your body, and you are eating more carbohydrates. So all these things, lifestyle changes and advices, does help them understand their conflict, and then that the adaptation you have to take, the adaptation rubrics you take, you come to the remedy, you give the remedy. The remedy not only reduces the sugar, the remedy makes him think logical. A right remedy doesn't change only the pathology, it changes the mind also. It changes the adaptability, it changes the acceptance. You are fighting with your mother-in-law, and if you give the right remedy, you stop fighting with the mother-in-law and feel that no, she's also right in her place. That's the acceptance which comes in, and that reverses the sugar. It automatically reverses the blood pressure. The person starts living better, and he understands where he should not do excess and not cause resistance conflict. Now,
Thank you very much
here
for
I
a
did not
very
give an
detailed
example.
answer. Very detailed
Sorry.
answer indeed.
Yeah. Here I
It's I always say,
okay.
Dr. Ashraf, I always say homeopathy is life changing, It truly can. And
Yes.
you've just answered that, because if it can change the way that you think for the better,
Yeah.
isn't that life
Yeah.
changing?
Yes.
You know?
And a right remedy does it.
Amazing. So what are you up to next? What's coming up on the horizon?
So next, some or other thing keeps coming up for me. Uh, So the next what is coming up is my GHK module in February, because here also now I met almost 300, 400 doctors who all wanted to learn. So my module, I have already taken my module 1, which was basic. So I will be launching my module 2 in February, and that will be more of autoimmune cases, how to handle. And that's what is my plan. And the second plan is I have a resort called as Viveda Wellness Village. There I am going to have a GANM diabetes reversal program, where I will take in few patients referred to me by doctors, difficult cases. I will admit them, stay with them, take care of their lifestyle, do their case history, give the right remedies, and see whether that helps. Because I have seen that if a patient comes to your clinic and you give him medicine and advised diet, he follows it for 7, 8 days and then he forgets you. And then he comes in for the medicine, does not follow the diet. But when you stay with them and get it done from them, they follow.
Amazing. We just yeah, the connection just dropped. So, and I also know that I think it's either next week or the week after you are coming back on Homeopathic Voices to talk some more and
Yeah.
answer some questions, actually. So, those listeners who are listening now, and certainly those that will listen back once this is posted after this session on Instagram, if you have any questions, please get in touch, send your questions, and Dr. Asha Sheikh will answer them. In the next session, let's make it that type of session where people can get an idea of or should I say they can get answers to the questions they have. Even today now, somebody has asked about anemia, aplastic anemia, and causations, and bone fractures as well, interestingly enough.
So bone fractures are where you cannot use this thing in injuries. Okay, you cannot use it in injuries. Injury is an injury that must have happened due to some accidents or something. But if you're getting bone fracture repeatedly due to osteoporosis, naturally it is a self-evaluation conflict. Somewhere the value is going down and you are aging. And you are aging, and now the children don't listen to you, which they used to listen to you, and they insult you, and they don't follow your orders, and you feel neglected by the family or the children, causes osteoporosis. And that if it's happening and you take any amount of calcium, it does the osteoporosis do not go. Nowadays they are giving some very costly injections to solve osteoporosis, but it doesn't work. It absolutely doesn't work. So you have to find the fracture is an injury, but if it is happening again and again and the patient is osteoporotic, then use devaluation conflict. So the and anemia is self-worth. It's self-worth conflict. In fact, anemia is very common. So next time when we talk, I will give you 1 or 2 cases of anemia and their approaches. So I will also make a note on that. I'll give you 2 cases of anemia where the blood was 4 and 5 and never reduced to increase. And the second case was of thalassemia, where the doctor said nothing can happen, and the hemoglobin stayed normal. So I will also share those before and after videos and testimonies. So next time when we meet, I think we should have a presentation where I can share the reports before and after while we are talking. Something like that, if we can do better.
Absolutely, let's do that. That's
I can share my screen and you can see the audience also sees.
Yes, and we must record a podcast, not just one, but a few. But I will be offline. I will